Welcome, everybody. It is maple syrup time. How are y'all doing? Everybody's good tonight?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thumbs up. All right. So, George and I have decided today would be a good day for a panel. And so, we've invited two guests to come speak with us about our continued quest to understand gaming not around the table. Right, George? Is that what we're calling this?
That's where we started, so we're sticking with it.
Yeah, we're
It's my
sticking with
fault.
it.
If you don't like it, it's my fault.
It is completely your fault. So, for people who haven't been watching for the last couple of weeks, George and I have been interviewing people about games that aren't played around a table. So last week we talked to Daniel Tozier about a game that he does by physical mail. Like we're talking, you mail a card to somebody, and then
Old
you have,
school.
that card is a prompt that then you write about, right? So yes, very old school. Not even play by email. We're talking play by mail. And then next week we're having Spencer Stark come on to talk about Alice is Missing. And I just learned a really cool thing about Alice is Missing because I just was talking to Knox from Hunters about their current Kickstarter, which is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, a storytelling game about murder and things most foul based on a brilliant comic book. If you like comics, go check it out. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees from Patrick Horvath, published by IDW. And if you like it, then maybe check out the role-playing game that's currently on Kickstarter of the same name. Different characters, though. So very cool. So, hey, welcome to Adam and Matt. How are you all doing?
I'm great.
I'm doing good.
Thanks for having me on here. This is awesome.
No, you came highly recommended.
Oh.
Amanda Panda, who is friends with us, she's like, well, I'm sorry I can't come on because she's currently in Essen, the biggest game convention in the world right now. And she says, but I know somebody who would be great. And you came highly recommended from Amanda. So wonderful to see you.
No, she's great. I've lost to a lot of games with her. She's the panda shark. No, she's a great friend. That's really nice that she said that.
Good. And we also have Adam with us. Adam, hey, Adam, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll come back to Matt to introduce himself.
Sure. So for some of the chat's already familiar with me because I see some of my people came over. Thank you for being on time. I love you. But my name is W. Adam Clark. I am a speculative fiction writer. I have worked in the TTRPG gaming space. I have worked in the wargaming space. I'm currently a staff writer for Realm Magazine, which is a TTRPG magazine. I also am the chief lunatic for Single Step Games, and which is a TTRPG development company that makes third-party products for primarily 5e and Daggerheart, and we're currently working on our first property to hopefully launch next year. Spinespur. Yes.
There you go. See, I read your answers to my questions. That's awesome.
I appreciate you.
That's great.
And Matt, what about you?
My name is Matt. I'm the Silver Metal Tavern on Twitch. I stream playthrough analog board games or sometimes digital games, but mostly it's analog. And when I'm not streaming or playing board games, I work as a editor in television and film in Hollywood. And
yeah, you're kind of a Star Trek nerd, apparently.
I work on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and it's a dream to be on that show. But when I'm not working on it, I'm constantly playing games. So
that's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So, George, frame the question again, because it always eludes me exactly what we're trying to talk about.
Well, it differs a little bit week by week because the guests are different. But we're in general, the concept is looking into how analog games or in-person games, when played not in person, how they differ, or different ways that those in-person experiences can be translated into non-in-person experiences. Or in this case, what about playing them online or for an audience changes the experience, both for the people playing it and honestly, playing in front of an audience as well. How does that make it different?
Mm-hmm.
That was very unconcise. Sorry?
Yeah. And in this era of actual plays and things like that, I think it's a very good question to ask. How did games become performative, and that's really interesting too. And then interactive, right, with how Adam is doing it and Matt does it as well. So before we get into that question, um, Matt, I'd love to know your origin story. Like, how did you get into specifically Twitch streaming? Right? Why are you playing games for other people?
Well, mostly I got onto Twitch. It was mostly during the quarantine. We were kind of like stuck at our houses, as we all were, and Hollywood basically shut down. Like there were no shows coming, things were getting shelved, canceled, just put aside indefinitely. We don't know when we were going to come back out and start working again. And I was just like, I got to do something, or I'm going to go crazy. So I went online, and I didn't even know what Twitch was, and I looked on Twitch and I saw, always, of course, mostly video games, but I did see like a board game category. So I went in there and I ran into just a ton of board game streamers, people like, Panda Angel, Ruel Gaviola, Paula Deming, just everybody doing these streams of these board games. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can totally do this. And I would absolutely want to do this because we can't get together to play games anymore. But it's like, let's try and just stream some games. And I actually started with some really light, easy games to stream. And like, I think like Elder Sign, just stuff that you could set up really easily, just roll some dice, throw out some cards on the table. And yeah, just kind of was working on that. And it was a little hard at first because you don't get any viewers when you first start. Basically, I was streaming to nobody for like the first month. Maybe one or two viewers would hop on, and it was mostly probably like Twitch bots. But after a while, it's like you start meeting other people in the Twitch board game community and chatting with them. And they're like, oh, you stream? Yeah, you should swing by. And then people started checking the streams out, and then just start to get known. And it's really cool because it's a very, very small niche audience on Twitch. So it's a very, very close connected community. And it's honestly, it's one of the best communities on Twitch. It's really, really inclusive. It's friendly. There's hardly any toxicity on the board game side of
Right?
Twitch, which is great.
Like any raid is a good raid, right? So
Oh, absolutely.
that's great. And Adam, what about you? When did you start gaming? Why did you start gaming? And then how did that translate into I'm going to do this in front of people?
Um, well, ironically, my Twitch channel started before I was really back into the TTRPG space. We used to do some video game streaming. I was a big survival game streamer for many years, and then we just did a one night thing where we decided, you know what, let's get some old friends together and play some D&D one night a week, and then that turned into a buddy of mine who has been my moderator for years, and I've known him for 25 years now, being like, hey, do you mind if I do another show on another night? Sure. And the next thing you know, now our channel has live plays 7 nights a week. So we've got 4 different GMs, 5 different game systems. We are running every single night, aside from tonight, obviously.
That is amazing. Like that you can stream every night, have an active audience every night, and keep on doing it. It's like a lot of energy and time to like do all the setup and do all the work. Like Matt was just telling us before he got here that he had read like the 30-page rule book for SETI, which is the new one from CGE, a large, very crunchy game, and his brain is melting.
It's nice.
So yeah, there's a lot to it, right? And prepping for the games and all that kind of stuff. So welcome to the show, everybody, and everybody else who's out there watching on the chat. Just chime in, let us know that you're here, let us know where you're calling in from, or calling. I mean, like very analog. where you're signing. I don't know. Where you're logging in. Whatever. Just
welcome
let
to
us
the
know where you're
radio
at.
show.
Yeah. And it's lovely to see all of you here as well. So let's start talking about streaming analog games. George, what do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Okay, I'll start with Matt because you're in the top left for me. One of the things is that if anyone out there's used something like Tabletop Simulator or Tabletop Playground, like just getting your own camera to to have what you as a player want to see is difficult. It's incredibly difficult. And one thing I really noticed about your streams is just how incredible the camera work is. Like it, when you want to have a top shot, it's you have like dead flat power. I've never been able to get a camera to do that ever, and all the shots seem very well considered. And I'm wondering how much time you put into it before starting the game, like considering what you want to show to communicate the game to the audience.
Yeah, it's always really tricky because every game is different. Every game has a different layout. So you're always trying to figure out like where my point of interest is going to be in this game. And one of the things that I love that I do and that the audience loves that I do is I punch into the screen. I shoot with a 4K camera from the top down, which gives me a lot of latitude to punch into an image, punch into a section of the board. So you could really get a good sense of like what's this board saying. But it changes every game. So, for prep time, you're always thinking you got to lay out the game and you got to be like, oh, okay, I got to focus here. I got to focus here. Can I focus here? Is this too far? If I push too far, is the picture going to degrade? And it's a little tricky, like trying to set it up. And, but a lot of times it's really easy just to kind of, if you know the game that you want, it's easy to punch in. People who are playing, they already know the game too. So they kind of get a good understanding of what there is. I also have another camera. I actually have two other cameras that I use. One is a green screen camera. I have a camera that's pointed on, of course, I don't have it on me. Oh yeah, it's way up there. Wait, hold on one second. It is these guys that I borrowed from my son's art shelves. It's just heavy cardstock of green and blue cardstock. And I have a camera pointed at this, and this is my actual blue screen and green screen. So what I can do now is I can lay a card on this thing with a camera that's completely zoomed in on it, and you could just read everything on this. I mean, it's really, really great. So now people can actually read, they can see what's going on, they get a really good understanding of what's happening. I mean, as far as the setup, it's like you kind of think about all this stuff like when you're about to open, for as soon as you open the box, you start thinking, where am I going to put everything? How am I going to rig this up? And hopefully it works out right. But some of these games, man, are just, they're monsters on a table. I mean, they're just such table hogs. Sometimes you get like really nice ones that are just, oh yeah, the classic games that we used to play, a little square board in the table and that's it. But now you got games like, we're talking about SETI, we're talking about Nemesis Lockdown,
Nemesis.
Arkham Horror.
I knew you were going to bring up Nemesis.
You can't avoid it. It is probably the biggest game I've ever put on the table and one of the most difficult games to try and stream just because there's so much on. I mean, I can't even put everything out. So I have a box on the side just to, I'll bring it out when it's time.
It is Nemesis is one of the best, but it does require its own zip code. It is
Right?
It is a big game.
It is.
But it looks so good on the table.
It is great. And well, for those games, for like games like Dungeon Crawlers or anything like that, I have another camera. It's called a PTZ camera. And these are cameras that you can use with like a remote control. They kind of use these cameras for church ministries, concerts, conference videos, and stuff like that. So, and it's a camera that just kind of looks left and right, up and down, and it can zoom in. And this camera zooms in like 20 times. So when you zoom in fully, you're like microscopic on the board. And I've had so many reactions in chat to that camera, and it's an amazing camera to have. I always recommend it to any board gamer that's starting to stream. It's a little expensive, but you can find them really cheap on eBay because a lot of people, now that the pandemic's, kind of done and people
they don't
not
need
doing
it
that stuff anymore. No, they're kind of like offloading these cameras on eBay, and but they don't know who to sell them to because it's such a weird. I know. Yeah. And I mean, I got this camera. This is a $2,000 camera, right? I found this on eBay, $300, and it's brand new. Yeah, nice. I'm not even kidding. It's like crazy because people don't know what to do with this video. They don't know what to do with this camera. They get this camera and they're like, all right, great, I got it. What do I use it for? I don't know. It's like they don't know what application to use it for except for like us. Yeah. So it's great. But they come out, they're like silver slimes, they come out like very, very rarely. So it's like, if you see it, grab it. If you're definitely trying to do a board game stream, because they're incredibly helpful.
So what brand is the one that you're using? Because people are asking.
This is the model is called, it's a JVC. It's a PZ. It's a PZ200N is the model. Now they make like a bunch of like
Okay.
I think PTZ Optics is a very popular one. Sony makes their own line. They're pretty much everywhere, but the only ones I ever really see on eBay, like going used, are sometimes like the JVCs, and they're pretty rare when they come up. But when they come up, sometimes you'll get a cheap one. You'll get like a really good deal on it, which is great. So
Very
definitely one to
cool.
look out for.
So yeah, Matt, continuing on with your technology, is this just something that's an extension of you being an editor in film and television, that you like
It
cameras and stuff and you know how to
I
set up
do like,
shots?
well, when I started streaming, I didn't really have any of this gear. I had my DSLR, which I just used on vacations, and that was like my face camera. And then I had a GoPro 4, which I used as my tabletop cam. I basically just had it hooked on a tripod arm connected to the table, just pointing down. And that has a great wide angle lens on it, so I could pretty much get the whole table. And then for my
Yeah.
close up green screen cam, I used my iPhone. So I pretty much didn't have anything, and I was just scrambling around, just piecing things together, see what I could put. And as the years went by, because I just passed my 5-year anniversary, as you know, the money was kind of like rolling into the channel, I would always tell people, look, whatever money comes into this channel goes towards the channel, and it's going to go towards like better production, more content for games and stuff like that. So a lot of this tech was basically funded by the community, just watching and everything. And so it started small, and now it's turned into, now I have 3 DSL. Technically I have 4 DSLRs pointing at the table right now, a Panasonic G7, 2 JVC PTZ cameras, and I think that's it, because that's already enough. It's, you
Nice.
don't need to be
Yeah.
that insane with it. But after a while, the multicam is so great, and audiences love it because they just feel so much more immersed
Yeah.
into what they're watching in the game, especially when you're trying to learn and you don't know how to play a game, and you could see it like up close, like, what am I doing? What am I turning? What cards am I using? It's really helpful, because these games are so like beefy now, and they're so complicated and complex, and it sometimes it takes more than just a how to play video, even though they're great. But even though you watch like a how to play video and you know how to play it, you need to know how to run it and know what you're doing, because you can get tripped up on that pretty easily. So
Yeah, I think there's something different from a how to play and a playthrough, where it's like more natural feel, right?
very much so.
So yeah, we have a question from Sir Shiny. That's actually really hard to
Ooh.
say fast. Sir
Yes,
Shiny.
it is.
Do you do you have any custom lighting for said board games? Do you have a custom lighting rig? Do you use just like a big
I use a lot of the Elgato
LED
key
light?
lights. I use a lot of the Elgato key lights, mostly because you can connect them to your Stream Deck, and you can give them like intensities. I also have some RGB lights, which is the ones you're kind of seeing right here. And I light, basically I light depending on what game I'm playing. So if I'm playing a game like SETI, which is predominantly blue and orange, I'll have blue lights. And then I have like lights on the back of these board games that just kind of light up, like shelf lights that light up orange. Or I like to stick with like the color theme of the game I'm playing. But yeah, and you usually only need like maybe 2 or 3 lights. Like if you're trying to get like really good even lighting, 3 is fine. And I get like a lot of people, because some of this gear is pretty expensive, especially lights can get pretty pricey. But there's some fairly inexpensive lights. And the one thing I always tell people is never be afraid to buy used. You should always be your very first thing that you go for, because a lot of times you're going to buy like light stands, C stands, lighting rigs. The majority of that is just metal, and it's like you don't need to pay top dollar brand like new prices for metal. You could buy it like acceptable used, and it's still great. So I always tell people just buy it, because you never know. You can get a professional quality looking production on just budget streaming prices. I mean, it's just really great.
Right. Right. Last question before we go over to Adam. Curve Luke is asking, what kind of program are you using, Matt, for the multi-camera action in a live stream?
It's all done in OBS. Everything is OBS. OBS is probably like the best thing you do. I know there's OBS Streamlabs. There's a bunch of different options that you can take, but I feel like OBS is probably one of the easiest, and it plays well with a lot of the plugins that are out there. So mostly like camera angles, switching. I have a pedal right below me, like a 3 button pedal, which is great for switching to multi-cameras.
Right.
If I want to look at somebody, I'll hit the left pedal. If I want to look at another place, I'll hit right. And now they just released an update where if you hold, you can now tap it, double tap it, or hold it, and it's all a function. So now this 3 button pedal is now turned into a 9 button pedal. Yeah, and it's brilliant. And
Wow.
and now now it's on the Stream Deck too. So all your buttons on Stream Deck work with that action as well. So they're really working with like trying to make this technology easier for the person that's running it live, because doing this live, it's so taxing on the brain, because you're trying to be an actor, writer, director, producer, all this at once, and it's all live.
Lighting, cameras,
sound.
It's
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just listening to a podcast about the live sound mixing on Saturday Night Live, because the original mixer, well, not the original mixer, but he's been mixing it for 40 years and he just retired. And his secret weapon, a pedal, right, that he uses to bring in and out the live audience laugh track, not laugh track, but their laughter. So it's really interesting to hear. And then you're saying pedals, and I use pedals all the time for other aspects of things like transcription pedals for medical records. Anyway, so I think having feet that work like hands is a great way for somebody who is wearing many, many hats. You're playing a game, you're checking the camera angles, you're working with sound and lighting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because I hear that all the time. Elgato, it's always like they always say, like, boy, if only I had like an extra hand. It's like, you got 2 feet.
You do.
Put them to work.
They're down there.
And I definitely want to piggyback on something that Matt just said, which is when you're streaming live, everything goes and everything will. And you are trying to do your show or run your game while you are also your stream engineer, while you are your lighting engineer, while you are your sound engineer, and you've got to have your hands busy and know where all of your buttons are. Like, I have 2 Stream Decks that I use, as well as a 6-track mixer, and I will be doing things and talking to the audience and then adjusting the volume for different mics for different players as they try to get quiet or suddenly get very angry and don't have good sound balance on their end. So I'm constantly, like, my hands never stop moving, but they're never in the shot.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a perfect segue
it's talent.
To sort of where I wanted to go for my question for you, Adam, which is, when we play around a table, we play role-playing games, like there are inside jokes, we take pauses, there's dead air a lot of the time, but none of this is, much like in radio, that's not a great way to tell a story to people who aren't involved in a story. How does running a game for a stream differ from the way you would run it around the table?
Well, I am fortunate in that most of my players are either, and in some cases, many of these categories, but are either perma-DMs themselves, so they know how to run a game and how a table should work, so when they see a gap, they know how to fill it, or they are current or former LARPers or current or former stage performers. So I'm working with a bunch of people that are also allergic to more than 6 seconds of dead air. And so we generally have a 4-hour show with a 5-minute break in the middle. If a player needs to get up and move for any reason, we have much like this, we have a off-stream chat where they can just say, hey, I need to go fix something. I'll be back in 5 minutes. So the players are all aware of what's going on the table, and so there will be sometimes vamping that needs to occur, because I know that I'm about to engage with Bacon's character, but Bacon just had to old Bacon Eater had to just get up and walk around for a second. He'll be right back. So meanwhile, I have to have an NPC engage with Sir Shiny for the next 5 minutes that I didn't have planned until Bacon gets back, and then I can get back to the scene where it's supposed to be. So it is very much live theater, and anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and you just adjust on the fly and keep the show rolling.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
How is the technology changed? Has it had any influence on the way you run games?
Absolutely. And even having now done this for about the same time as Matt, in as far as the TTRPGs, we've our longest running campaign is now just entering its 4th year. It's the campaign that will not die. And when we first started, I was running 2 overlays, one like this with just multiple cams and where you could really see everybody's faces, and then another one that showed a battle map and smaller faces off to the side. And now with the stream decks and with the level of interaction you can get, like I can have images pop up, I can have overlays crisscrossed constantly during the shows, so it adds an extra level of complexity that you can use to give the audience immersion. We have audio playing in the background that I control through another set of buttons to be able to change the audio scene by scene as the players move through the world, depending on what's happening, to make sure that they have the proper ambiance. So the technology is definitely there. A lot of these you can still employ, like the tabletop audio, for example. You can still employ that when you're just playing with friends at the table on your phone. But I feel, at least for me, that doing those extra steps when you're trying to stream an RPG allows the audience an extra level of immersion that makes it feel more like they're watching a show or more like they're playing the game themselves, rather than watching
Mm-hmm.
4 other people play a game, which is one of the
Okay.
worst things ever.
That's an interesting point.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Matt, I wanted to go back to you, and we're still talking about tech because it's fascinating to me. I like audio stuff, so it's always really interesting to hear about cameras and audio. Uh, Have you gone so far as to do like World Series of Poker, building like a camera or putting a camera just for the hands of the players, and what their cards they have in their hands, so that people
It is
feel
really
like they're
funny.
sitting in that seat?
Yeah, I have thought about doing something like that. I think when you start to get to that level of detail, you always have to like consider like, well, now you need like more lights, and now you need more you basically just need like more gear just pointing at things, and after a while it just gets like too much. I always thought about because you know about the World Series of board games that happen in Vegas
Mhm.
every year. Um
Just
I
It
always
just
thought
happened a
about
couple
maybe
weeks
I should
ago.
just yeah. And I was like, maybe I should just go down there one day and offer my services to like set up for like one of the finals or something. But then it's just like, it just, it's already hard enough to like light what I have. Like when I light, I got like 6 lights on, and I still feel like I'm like not lighting the table correctly. And even though it like looks good, in my head, I'm always thinking, no, I'm doing something wrong. There's something not right. Cause I I work in post production. I don't work in production, so I'm kind of like winging all this,
Ah,
or just kind of just taking a best guess. Just mostly like how it looks. It's like if I don't like it, um, I'm gonna try and like mess with it in a particular way to get rid of it. But I have always thought about making things a bit more detail, a bit more crazy, but then I think about like the amount of time it takes uh to get it all set up. And then it's got to change when
yeah,
you set up a new game. And that's the thing that's kind
right.
of a little tricky.
It definitely
You could
becomes
just play
diminishing
SETI for
returns at
weeks and
some
weeks and
point.
weeks.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Right.
I know streamers that just play like one game. I just met a streamer who plays Shadows of Brimstone, and he's only going to do that. And he has a great setup.
Right.
he's a new streamer, and he has a great setup. He's got overlays and music and sound effects and everything, and it looks great. But I was thinking in my head, if you try and do this for every game you have, it would be a nightmare. You would drive yourself crazy because there's just like so much prep time. It's like 6 hour prep time for a 2 hour stream. So just like,
Yeah,
no, I
right?
can't do this. But sometimes it works.
Now you know how
but
all the
sometimes it
dungeon
doesn't.
masters feel.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Just imagine being the dungeon master and then also doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right?
mean, it's
See?
just so much work. Yeah.
It's nothing but pity for you, Adam. Nothing but pity. So Matt, basically you're the guy who, when we yell, "Well, fix it in post," it's you that we're yelling
Oh
at.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. Fix it in
Okay.
post. Anytime, yeah. Anything you're watching in a show, there's so many things that are happening behind the scenes that you don't know about. It's like you think that person's really there, they're not. We had to put them there. No, sometimes. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But yeah, no.
It's very
Definitely
Star
fix it in
Trek,
post.
anyways, right? So yeah,
It's everything. There was no show that is immune from it.
right.
So
George, you look like you wanted to say something.
Yes. So I said I wasn't supposed to do this, but I'm going to address a question to both of you, and you can decide this first. So we've been talking about this like it's more like live television than anything else, but there is, of course, just like on this stream, there are the people watching who are actively participating. Like, how intentional are you about incorporating them into what you're doing? Yeah, you're going, Matt, move
Go
forward.
for it, Matt.
So this is like one of my favorite things. On Fridays, I do a thing called Games of Chat or Games of Viewers. And the viewers can come in. I have a game set up on the table, a physical game, and I will put the option where people in chat can jump in, whether they want to play in chat or they want to jump into Discord or just any kind of audio communication, and we'll actually play a game so they can play it. Because a lot of times it's like, board games are super expensive and nobody knows like what they're getting into when they drop 70, 80, $150 on a board game. And then they buy it and they're like, this game's not that great. It's like, wouldn't that be great if you could just at least try it a little bit? And I know there's tons of digital versions of board games. You got BGA, you got TTS, all these Tabletopia and everything. So what I like to do is I like to have a game that's not on those setups or those systems and just be like, here's a game. You want to try it? Here, jump in. I can set up overlays to put your name on the screen, how many points you're getting. And you can just tell me where you want to move. And I just move you around. And we've been doing that for a while and people like love it just to see like where they can go, what they can do, play in a game. And I always tell people you're never committed to something. It's like, if you want to hop in for like 5 minutes, give it a run and then bolt, go ahead. It's like, or some people just play for the whole game. And I'll just say, no, if you want to leave, I'll just take over. I usually set up dungeon crawlers and stuff like that for people. But no, it's great. And that's kind of like the one thing that I love doing, because I love people just coming in and just trying it out and playing it. I've had a lot of people come into the stream and they say, I bought this game because I played it on your channel. And it's like,
That's
whoa,
the best feeling.
it feels so good, because it's just like you're just helping somebody. And that's what we want to do, like in this community. We want more players. We want more people to sit at the table and play these games, because there's 3,000 board games, through over 3,000 board games that get released a year. And the majority of people only know the maybe 50 that are on like Target shelves and stuff like that still. I mean, it's wild. I mean, it's the most exploding industry I think of all the time. And it's like, it's still like this small niche. It blows my mind. So I'm always just trying to get more people at the table, more people into games. And I don't throw like SETI at them, but or like Arkham Horror, but we just start light, stuff like that. Nothing crazy.
What we do is, as George will tell you, I am historically a fan of pro wrestling and indie pro wrestling. I love street theater. I love park theater. I love improv and pantomime. And we have done our best to try to incorporate those kind of elements into the game that we stream. And the way that we've done that is our live players can see the chat and will often interact with it in an out of game fashion during the show. There we have a number of different effects that the audience can trigger via channel points. We also use a system called Stream Loots, which is basically a digital collectible card game. You buy packs of cards, they will have random effects, and then you can apply those effects when you want in the stream, which just means I have one more thing I need to pay attention to at all times. But I never would have thought. It was one of my mods, Scorched Ace, suggested that we start doing this early on, and it has changed the way I GM. It has changed the way that I write sessions. Changed the way that I scale combats, because I have 3 to 5 players on stream. And then I have another 20 sitting in the cheap seats. And oh lordy, do they affect the game. They can decide that they don't want a player to die, and they will do everything to heal him. They can decide that they really like this villain and they don't want the fight to end yet, so they just start healing the villain, or they call in reinforcements, or just everything can happen at any time. And we have stock 20-25 NPCs that wander from campaign to campaign, that there are special cards you can play to make those NPCs show up. And when they do, I suddenly need to change into that voice and have that character come on to the show. And so you're just constantly doing all of this all at the same time. And it is so different than just playing on a standard table. I'm not saying it's better. There are definitely advantages to each form, but having that extra random chaos of not knowing what's coming next, even as a player, because I actually play in 3 of our shows. I run 4. Having that extra chaos of, all right, I'm ready to go. I have been saving up for this special ability for the last 30 minutes. I knew it was coming. I've got my moment. What do you mean Ari just played a crit fail card on me? Oh, and you just roll with it, and it's all in good fun. As Matt was saying, the community on Twitch, you have these small niche communities that stick by your shows, and you see the same people all the time, and it's great. And you get those inside jokes that you normally only have at a table. We now have that we're sharing the same inside jokes with 25 or 30 people. Like, apparently, if you watch our Monday show, you are now aware that pretty people don't poop.
It's good to know.
Pretty people don't poop.
And that started a month ago, and it has spread like wildfire, and it's just one of those inside things, and every community needs, but they are great. I still do some analog gaming, but the streaming on Twitch, it's just playing with an audience. It's an entirely different animal, and it is most definitely not for everyone. But if you try it and you like it, it can be a really rewarding experience.
It sounds like it. People are typing pretty people don't.
Yes.
In the chat. So
yes,
there you
go. Which was the exact line on our show. Our shows are generally 18 plus, particularly because any show that involves spine spur is very much 18 plus. But yeah, so I edited it down. But yeah, the inside jokes, they all happen in our game system. The god of random chance is literally called Chyat, Chyat, just so that the players can in-game complain about chat.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It's all interlaced. It's beautiful.
That is so meta. So let's go back to Matt. Hey, first of all, I want to know why your streaming channel is called what it's called. That's the first question. And then, because I didn't really understand why is it called that. And then the second question is, Tell me about TwitchCon 2025 when you get a chance.
Yeah, I just
We'll
got
start
back
with the
from
first question, and then you can bridge into
TwitchCon.
TwitchCon.
Yeah, start with the first one. Right. All right. So the reason why I'm called the Silver Medal Tavern is, well, so before I started streaming and everything, I used to play just board games just constantly. And before the pandemic, I had maybe like a 50 player gaming group that I just found as I like in LA working on like show to show to show. I would always just be like, hey, come over, let's play board games. And all these shows I've been working on, I've been acquiring new players and getting more players at the table and everything. So we used to record all of our victories at the end. My friend had an Excel sheet and he recorded, we played every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. We played multiple games. We played like 3 games a night, something insane. And he recorded these games for a year and a half. And it ended up being that I came in second place like 86% of the time, which is crazy. Weird. I don't know why it's like that. I actually had a friend who thought I was throwing the game because he thought that if I would win all the time, maybe I thought people wouldn't want to play with me anymore. He's like, I don't want to play with him. He always wins. So they just stopped. And I was like, no, I'm not throwing the game. I have a great I just have a terrible end game. My end game's always like the wheels always fall off. I don't know why when I play board games. That's why I don't do World Series of board gaming. But I guess second place payout is $5,000. So I probably should play a little bit more of that. But no, that's the truth of the Silver Medal Tavern. And it was really funny because when I was trying to think of the name for the channel, I was always just trying to come up with these clever like play on word names and stuff like that. And but then it was just like, well, there's already people who are doing this way better than I am, and the names I was coming up with weren't that great. And I was like, yeah, this somebody already did this, but it sounds like a lot better. And I was like, well, there's not a lot of silver medal taverns out there, and I do get second place like all the time. So there it is. I like the idea that that's the reality of why my name is that, but what I like to say is that I don't think it's like a lot of people always chase that win in a board game. And I always say, just have fun with what you're playing. Don't stress so hard about trying to get the victory. I know the whole objective of board games is to try and win the game, but you get so much more enjoyment just having fun with everyone and socially playing and hanging out with everyone. And it's like, just enjoy playing. Winning is the bonus. And if you get second place, hey, you get second place. You're still really good. And also, silver is always better than gold because when the vampire and werewolf apocalypse hits, you're going to wish you had all that silver. So, you can't get that at the gold medal tavern. So you want that in your arsenal, silver. It's good. I don't know. But yeah, that's mostly the reason. That's the origin behind why that I named it that. 86% second place wins.
Nice.
But as far as TwitchCon went, TwitchCon was great. I was on a panel with Paula Deming, Bonzinator, who is another amazing Twitch streamer. She's amazing, and Ross Thompson. And the panel was called "Board Game Streaming and You," all about people who are interested in trying to get into the world of streaming board games, whether it's on Twitch obviously on Twitch, but on YouTube or whatever too. And we were just on there just giving information about, type of gear you need, what kind of streamer are you? Are you an educational streamer? Are you an entertainment streamer? What's it like working with sponsors, trying to get sponsors, working with publishers? And it was great. It was me and Paula Deming's first time at TwitchCon, which was really fun. It was my first time on a panel, which was really wild. And I was like, oh, this should be pretty cool. I'm just going to talk about board games to everybody. We were actually giving away giveaways. We were giving away board games to people who were asking questions. I mean, it was really amazing. And it was also really exciting too, because I think we were probably, if not the first, but must have been like the first board game, because I know they do like a lot of tabletop stuff at TwitchCon. There's a lot of like TTRPGs, there's a lot of minis and stuff like that, but I don't think there's ever been a panel specifically for board games. So it was very exciting. We had a lot of fun. We were very thankful that Twitch brought us on to have a panel at TwitchCon, because that's all we want to do. We just want to get more people We want to grow this industry on
Mhm.
Twitch as much as possible.
I'm gonna guess you were actually the second panel about board games.
The
Just
second,
because
you should
the
probably
silver medal.
Mathematically,
Yeah.
mathematically
Second-
probable. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, we were the
Yeah.
first. We were the first
86%
panel
of
of
the
the
time.
con, except for that. We were
Oh.
we were the very first panel of the con, which was pretty cool. So we got to
That is cool.
we got to basically like do our panel and then enjoy TwitchCon. So it was really fun. No, it was a great experience. It was really cool just running around there and just checking everything out. So it's very nice. Yeah, that
Nice.
was our TwitchCon experience. It was very cool. And being on a panel with Paula Deming, Bonsnader, and Ross is, I mean, they're just amazing people to begin with. And if you're not following them, Ross doesn't stream. He's the marketing director at Atomic Mass Games. But Paula Deming, a lot of people in the board game world know Paula. She's a sketch comedy artist and she does board game streams. And she's just, I mean, I'm just up on this panel with like these juggernauts and they're just amazing. And Bonsnader's great. So if you're not following them, you should be following them because they're incredible content creators.
George, what's next?
I have a question, but Adam, quickly, where did single step gaming come from? And then my question, and we'll start with you for this one to mix it up. I don't know how either of you have any time outside of streaming, but do you have any projects that you work on off camera?
Okay. Single step gaming. We were trying to come up with a name for the company because we are very much into trying to introduce, much as Matt said, introduce new people into the hobby, help come up with materials or products that will make it easier for people to experience TTRPGs. And single step gaming, the name comes from the ancient proverb, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So it's the idea of give someone the joy and the excitement of playing a game and playing a character, and don't stress about doing it right. Don't stress about winning, as Matt said. Don't stress about upsetting what the GM has planned. Play your character, have fun, enjoy the scene, enjoy yourself, enjoy your time, and the rest of the journey will follow suit. And so that's we took that for the name, and then we spent a lot of time trying to come up with a cool logo for it because that's always the hardest part. But yeah, it was very much the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, because that's how you do anything in life. You start.
Yeah, that's great. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
And
the second question was
yeah.
again?
Off camera, like, do you have any
Oh.
projects in the time,
Yeah.
little time you have
So
not sleeping?
my day is generally from 7 to 11 Eastern. We're streaming a couple nights because of player availability. With West Coasters, it's 8 to midnight instead. But so there's that 4 hours. The 30 minutes before that is the on call. Usually whenever we're starting a new show, it's 20 to 30 hours of doing overlays, setting the scenes, getting everything built before a campaign. Our campaigns last 6 months to a year usually, so that time is aggregated eventually. I spend an hour or two for each show each week, making new models, coming up with new characters or monsters, as every GM does, coming up with new maps. When all of that isn't happening, and I'm sure Matt will support me on this one as well. One thing I've always said to Twitch streamers is the amount of time you're live is generally 50% of the time you spend on your show or less.
Yep.
Everything else is behind the scenes and nobody sees it. So on top of all of that, I'm a freelance writer. So I'm regularly writing for a number of different projects, whatever I can get my hands on. I have a monthly column for Realm magazine that I need to make sure that I crank out. Shout out to Mandy for being a phenomenally understanding editor. I am good about getting in things on time, ... but then life happens. And she's great. And I mean, it's just constantly busy. And then the company itself, we have a property that we're working on now called Spine Spur, which is a tabletop RPG from the late 90s, early 2000s that me and one of my mods, we actually alpha tested it before it came out as a TTRPG, and we were working on the second rule book that never happened. I contacted the original owner, bought the rights to the game so that I could turn it into a tabletop. And on the nights where a stream gets canceled, we instead will do a show where, we open it up and people see me developing the game system and coming up with the rules that we're currently writing for using the setting in Daggerheart and using this setting in Blades in the Dark. So using both of those engines in this game world. And just I don't sleep. I get literally 4 hours of sleep a night. That's fine.
It's overrated.
Other than that, I am working on the show or working on the game or doing freelance writing or out walking or jogging or at the gym working out. And the entire time I'm doing any of those three activities, I'm running plots in my head the entire time. So yeah, it's
all billable hours, right?
All available hours. Creatives never stop creating. They just stop showing you that they're creating. Inside, they never stop creating. But honestly, I would have it no other way. It gives me the opportunity to. It gives me the opportunity to continue to create, to continue to entertain, to tell the stories that I want to make sure get told. And it's a rewarding feeling anytime you can do that as a writer, as a GM, as a showrunner, that you can every once in a while, about the same time, it's interesting how this works out, about the same time that you're like, oh man, this is so much work and nobody cares, you'll get that one email. And Matt knows the email I'm talking about, where somebody will just be like, hey, I just wanted to let you know this thing that was in this show, that spoke to me, and I didn't even know that was something I needed to know, but I needed to know that, and I just wanted to thank you for that. And all you need to do is get one of those and you never stop.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, I hear it.
That's great. So I have a question for both of you, and I'll start with Matt because Adam, you just had your say. So
because I'm in the top left corner. No.
Well, yeah,
top left privilege.
That's right. Yeah, circle gets a square. We are going to ask you a question about. See, some of you are old enough to get that. Some of you are not. I'm going to ask you a question that, you don't have to tell us exact numbers, but is it possible to make a living streaming games? And we're not talking like the video games. We're talking like the analog stuff.
It really depends. I mean, yes, I know a lot of streamers actually who are out there now are making a living. That's what they do. And a lot of it's through sponsorships, working with publishers and everything like that. And just how big your audience is, because Twitch, it blows my mind how much money floats around Twitch, especially like during the quarantine time. There was just people were buying they were dropping 25 subs, 50 subs, bits everywhere. And I'm just like, there is so much money on this platform just flying around to everybody supporting people. You could absolutely, live off of that, especially when you're working with a sponsor, when you're working with a publisher. Yeah, that could definitely, I mean, even if it's just like a part-time job, it's I mean, it's like I said, it just depends on who you are as a streamer, how established you are. Getting started, it's a little tough trying to nail publishers, and you're mostly just kind of doing it for hobby money. I'm just kind of doing this just to pay for the hobby. But once you like take off and I mean, yeah, you could absolutely like make a living just doing off of this, and there's tons of people who are doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I mean,
There's
it takes it's a grind to get there. I mean, you got to get there, and you got to get connected, and you got to get to know the community and get into the community. But yeah, sure, I could say you
yeah.
probably could.
Yeah, Adam, what about you? You're running slightly a different model, but is it paying the bills?
I can solidly say that I make more money off the Twitch channel than I do off of freelance writing or off of game sales. And part of that is because I have an established channel, and I have a phenomenal community. I love my community to pieces. And as Matt was saying, there's a ton of money that floats around on Twitch. I refer to Twitch, for those of you familiar with the term, I refer to Twitch as digital busking. And the
Yeah.
reason is that you're not making money
I
today
love
off the
it.
show
Yeah.
you did today. You're making money today off the show you did 3 weeks ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, that really tickled somebody. And now that they got a bonus, they're like, you know what? Here you go, buddy. That was great. So you never know when you're going to get it, and it's never the same. I have had months on Twitch where I have made low 3 figures. I have had months on Twitch where I have made high 4 digits. And you never know which month you're going to get until the month ends, which will drive you insane if you need to make sure that you have a certain budget. But like right now, we're currently doing a charity fund. We do this every October for Phil Abundance, which is a charity to end hunger in the city of Philadelphia and the greater surrounding area. It's a charity I've worked with for years, and it is very near and dear to my heart. We collected $2,700 for this charity before the month of October even started,
Wow.
and it runs all the month of October. The unfortunate thing is that what we're doing for the charity is for every $100 collected in a day in October, I am streaming wearing a Dr. Frankenfurter outfit. And my audience made sure that every day I'm streaming in October, I'm wearing a Dr. Frankenfurter outfit for charity. And we are right now have a goal of, if that hits $5,000 instead of one stream only, because this terrifies me. Instead of streaming as Dr. Frankenfurter, I will stream as Mr. Jingles, who is a character from Spinespur. Please don't Google him on any business or corporate equipment, because you will wind up in HR. I am not looking forward to this. I am kind of terrified that my audience is going to spring them on me like 3 days before the end of the month. Go, you thought you were clear, haha! But that's and that's just part of the joy, right? Twitch, you can't make a living on Twitch the year you start streaming on Twitch. You probably can't do it the second or third year. You need time to build your audience. You need time to network. You need time to find the people that are going to be willing and able to throw money at you. It takes time to get there, but just like anything else in the entertainment industry, you put boots on the ground, you put in your time, you collect your blood, sweat, and tears, and if it doesn't drive you insane, you can make a living at it.
Yeah. And it can be confusing to a lot of people too, because they see like somebody just start and it's like, well, how did they get like 15,000 followers? All right. It's like they're probably from another platform
Yeah.
migrating over from YouTube or TikTok or somewhere. So it's like, don't get frustrated when you like instantly see like somebody instantly successful on Twitch and they just started. It's probably because they're from another platform just migrating over.
Or they're just someone doing something else that isn't the thing that you want to do. Let them live their best life, live yours,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Just do what makes you happy.
I could make much more money doing other things. I would not be as happy doing other things. And at some point, you've got to decide what's more important to you in life. That's that third Rolex, or enjoying how you're making your money. And for me, I would much rather be a creative. I would much rather entertain my crazy little audience. I would much rather have our silly little gimmicks and our goofy time together than still work in finance, which is what I was doing when George and I first met.
Yeah. And you're building communities, which is the best part, you
Yes.
know.
Mm-hmm. I think you're probably giving more to more people than you ever did when you were in finance, right? So at least it's
Much.
palpable. Yeah. Great. Well, everybody, I got to tell you, I didn't know how we were going to make an hour out of this, but y'all can talk. It's definitely showing that you are used to holding an audience captive,
Well,
which is
welcome to
great. And you
those who
didn't
are
even
used
use
to a
any
3 to
sound
a 4 hour
effects,
format.
Yeah.
right? You didn't even use any, like loot drops. What did you call them? Stream loots.
Stream loot,
And
yes.
nobody like had to heal you. This is great.
I'm just getting warmed up
so-
now because I have to talk 3 hours after this podcast.
That's
Bless
right,
you,
the
right?
sir.
Because
stream.
you're going to do this, and then you're going to go do SETI. So, everybody, if you want to keep the chat going with me, you can find me on Blue Sky at Senfeng Lim, Dreyer Inc. on all the things. Is that where you are, George and Kat?
That's-
Currently, yes.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
say yes. If you
Yes,
go on
I'm gonna
X,
go with it.
they won't reply. But other than that, yes.
Mothball.
Harry's saying, dude,
And will be.
Adam can talk much longer than an hour. Yes. You can find both of us on Meeple Syrup and all the things. So if you want to watch what Matt is about to do, which is go on stream and play SETI, which is a giant game about communicating with extraterrestrials-ish type of
Yep.
things.
Space.
Space, the final frontier. You can go to Twitch TV / Silver Metal Tavern because he comes in second so many times.
Say
There you
that
go.
5 times fast.
I can't. Silver Metal Tavern. And if you want to watch Adam and what he does, Adam, you do okay. So both of you stream every day of the week, pretty much.
I stream Monday,
I know
Wednesday,
Adam
Friday
does.
at 9 p.m.
Oh, okay.
And I
Adam,
stream
you stream every
every
night.
day of the week, 7 to 11 or 8 to midnight. So just drop by the channel at 8 o'clock. Something will be happening.
There you go.
Eastern.
The channel, yes, is Twitch TV Single Step Gaming, all one word. There you go. Everybody, if you want to support the Patreon, go right ahead. You don't have to. It's nice if you do. It's okay if you don't. George doesn't have anybody to shout out, so we're not going to do that. Next week, we are going to have Spencer Stark here talking about Alice is Missing. And that is a very interesting game that is run on your cell phones, right? So it's all about text messaging. And again, George had this interesting concept like, what if we talked about people who are playing games but not around a table? And I'm like, George, what do you mean? He goes, well, what about Alice is Missing? I said, oh, okay. I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to talk about next week with Spencer, who is also one of the lead designers of Daggerheart, which was mentioned earlier in the day as well. So there you go. Hey, Matt, it is time to give your piece of final advice.
Oh, great. I know I had a whole
gave you
hour to think
advance
about
warning.
it. I know you gave me a whole hour. Look, I mean, everyone, just be cool to everybody. Play more games. Have fun. Don't stress out, and don't flip tables because it's not cool.
That's how you lose
There you
pieces.
go.
Yeah,
It is. That's not cool. You can't play the game. And Adam, what's your piece of final advice?
My advice is just play. I don't care what you play. I don't care how you play. I don't care who you play games with. Just don't let yourself get stuck being work 8 hours, drone on TV for 8 hours, sleep 8 hours, repeat. Don't allow yourself to find enrichment in your games. Just play one step at a time, and you have, if you're new to gaming of any stripe, board game, TTRPG, war game, does not matter. Just find someone to play, ask a buddy that you know is interested, and just play a game. Until you start, you have no idea where that will end. Just play.
Geez, that's great.
Excellent. Thank you.
You should have said mine for me. That was amazing. Can you just say mine now?
Yeah.
Professional writer. I'm good with words.
Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody, for
Yeah, thanks,
coming.
everyone.
Thanks, everybody,
This is
for
great.
watching. We'll be back next week with Allison Missing and the creator of that. Again, remember, go check out the stream right after this. It'll be Silver Metal Tavern, Twitch TV / Silver Metal Tavern, and then Single Step Gaming is Twitch TV / Single Step Gaming. All right, everybody, we'll see you later. Thanks so much, Matt. Thanks so much,
Thanks for
Adam and
having us.
George,
Great
as always.
Got it.
See you
Thanks
all
for being
next
here.
week. Bye.
Thank you.